Tom, we're going to go on an international journey today. Take us from England to Australia.
Well, Scotland, England, and Australia.
Scotland, England. Oh gosh, if I'd have known that, I would have used a little different flag in the front part there.
Only the Scottish would really be mad at you.
Well, that's probably not true. I would say more often than not, there are people. If I had, the Ben Franklin had the old T thing where you're making a decision with the pros and the cons on one side, and whatever side had the most check marks would be the side that he would go with on a decision. So if I did that, like happy and not happy with me, the not happy with me side would always be the overwhelmed side. Like the Lady Liberty scales that you see that are supposed to be flat, mine would be like that. Do you know the feeling or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, right?
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes I'm completely wrong and it doesn't really matter.
That's for sure. So the first race we're going to do today is this the one in Scotland?
Yes, it is in Ayr.
And it's Ayr?
Yeah.
So, and it's spelled AYR. Why did they spell it incorrectly?
Because it's Scotland. I don't know.
So this field, tell us a little bit about this field, Tom.
Well, this is a Class 2 race. It's a handicap for going 6 furlongs. The track right now is good to firm, which is unusual at this time of year because usually it's up in that area of the world. And it's started out with 189 entries.
Oof.
So
was it the only race like of the summer or what?
No, well, this is their meet right now. This is their 3-day meet, and they call it the Gold Cup meet, and this race is the Gold Cup. There's also a Silver Cup race that's a group race for 2-year-olds that's run, and then they started running. Was it Thursday? I think they ran Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So we had 128. It got narrowed down to 24, Tom. So
well, 20 well, it was 25, but one got already has been taken out. So
none of the other 140 can get in then?
No, they don't do a reserve list or anything like that. So where we have the also eligibles. Part of it is you got to ship your horse. If you're not in that area, you got to ship it up there. So yeah, you got to factor that in too.
Yeah, I can imagine a 3-day meet. It's hard to stall a horse there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would have to think very seriously if I've got to go any big distance to get my horse to run in a race without any time.
Yeah, I would imagine too.
That would be such a good move.
So giant field, Tom. Why don't you walk us through who you like and why you like them?
Okay, I'm gonna start out with number 14, Mr. Wagyu.
Mr. Wagyu. Well, I got a page all the way down because these things are not in order. There he is, Mr. Wagyu.
Well, he won't be in order because, of course, the odds. He's going to want to be. He's a front runner, so he's going to definitely want the lead. And he tried to do that last time out, and he was headed at the 3 furlong out. But the thing that was interesting with this race was he kept going, and that race was a Class 2, but faced better than average horses. And when we're going to take a look at another race at Newbury, the winner of that race, that Class 2 race, is running in a 5 furlong Group 3 race, Hurricane Ivor. So they're stepping that horse up to Group Company versus where this old guy is going to stay in the Class 2 ranks. He is a 6 furlong horse. There's no question about that. He has 50 runs at 6 furlongs. He has 13 wins, 14 places. Can't complain about that. And 7 of those wins were on good to firm surfaces. And I think it's a good thing that Jason Hart continues to ride the horse. He's going to make the trip up there, and he has 9 times won on this horse. So I think he's got a really good chance, and I think we're going to get a bit of a price, but I think you can get a bit of a price in most of these horses.
Yeah, I think the favorite's like 5-1, so there's no real such thing as a favorite, just where money might go.
Yeah, and that's really good. That's it. I mean, you can follow the money, but this is to me, it's a much more wide open race than at least in the top 10, maybe 15 deep.
Yeah, it's a Mega Millions race. You just put your balls in that bubble and pull them out, and that's how they'll finish.
Now the next one I really took a long shot.
All right, here we go. From
Number
20 to 1 to
9.
100 to 1. So you're trying to change your moniker again? Okay, where are we going now?
Well, no, I don't think he's quite that bad. I think he's 25 to 1. 9 number, it's 5,000 to 1. That seems appropriate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Draw number 6.
At 28 to 1. Yes, not 5,000 to 1.
Yeah,
close.
His last race, he was prominent. It was a short field. The groups merged. He got pushed, and then he weakened. Well, he also lost a shoe, the front 4 shoe in the race. So was it a useful race? Probably, but if he hadn't lost the shoe, what would have happened? The negative on him to me is that he's only won 1 race. He's young, and it's only been on the all-weather. So that makes me a little nervous. But on the other hand, he's been he's faced basically faced the top choice, which is number 2, Great Ambassador, and came close. And he's also faced a Group 1, Group 2, and listed race type company horses. So he's been running against some better stuff. Maybe this Class 2 race would be a little bit better place for him. The one race that this year that bothers me with him also is the Haydock race, where he went up against Class 3 horses and showed absolutely nothing. So,
all right, I got one more.
I think this one has got a shot because it's just one of those. It's got a decent draw. I think 6 is a good draw for this horse. There's just a get into the money, get into a position, and I can easily see this horse doing that. And why not in this kind of race? I mean, it's cavalry charge, literally. So my final one is number 3, Comanche Falls, draw 2. This should be one of the 5 to 1 type choices here. Comes off 2 wins at the distance. Ran a Goodwood in a Class 2 race against 23 other horses and was 10 to 1 and won. So it has faced big fields. The race at Hamilton was also strong. Again, 11-horse field. This season, this horse has got 4 wins from 6 starts, and they're only in the Class 2 and Class 3. So they've not been too ambitious with this horse as some of these other ones, where they're going to put them up in the Class 1 listed or group races. Career-wise, this is being a third choice. I don't know if it's the best choice because he's got 18 starts and 8 wins. Okay, nothing else. So he's wins or nothing.
All or nada.
Yeah. So the reason I think he may place this time for probably the first time is the draw 2. Depending on how this race is run, and I'm thinking they could easily be in 2 groups. The gate is going to be in the center for the start. So I'm thinking they're going to be in 2 different groups. And if where I think Mr. Waga on the other group will probably be the prominent horse there, lead. The second group or middle group is going to be some of those outside horses, and we'll see how they do running there. And that's why I think he's got a chance to just finish in the money rather than winning. And that would be a first for him because he's never done that before.
The all or nothing, as you mentioned, yes. Yeah. Here's my 4th pick, all or nothing. He's 8 or 16 overall, 8 of, I think, 14 at the distance, 1 or 2 at Ayr. So he's run there before. My top pick is great. I looked for the horses that had the best track record on the good to firm, because that's, I guess, what they're calling for at Ayr. So Great Ambassador is 4 times at the distance, 2 wins and 2/3. And a lot of the good efforts a lot of his best efforts were actually on the good. I like number 10 as my second choice, and that's a long shot down here. Idrak, horse is 33 to 1. Started off at 22 to 1, it looks like, and it's going up the board. So no money chasing that horse. But just looks to me like a horse that's improving. And the horse is making his 3rd start off a layoff. The last time it made a 3rd start off a layoff, it won. The previous 3-race cycle, it finished 3rd. Both of them were the best race in the 3-race cycles. I like number 20 as my next shot, Pop Master. Holly Doyle on that horse with Ed Walker as the trainer. Horse has run 6 times at the distance, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. It's caught a fast track, I think 6 times maybe, and it has a win. It has 2 seconds and a third, and the second and the third are by a nose, neck, and a nose, or neck, nose, or something along those lines. In other words, it hasn't been beaten by a whole lot when it runs on a good surface. So, and then again, Comanche Falls is my 4th choice, which brings us to our next race. Now we're moving over to Newbury. For some reason, I want to keep calling it Newmarket, Tom. I don't know why I want to call it Newmarket all the time, but maybe we've done Newmarket before or something. I'm not sure.
Yes, we have.
All right, so just a simple confusion in an old man's mind. So tell us about this race. I hope I got them right because there were so many different ones. The Dubai International Airport World Trophy Stakes. Is this the right one?
That is correct. It's the group 3 race for 3-year-olds and upwards, and we're going 5 furlongs.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out with number 5, Moss Gill, with draw 2. He was overmatched in his last race against a strong field at York. That was the Nunthorpe. He has 2 second-place finishes, and he finished second to Winter Power in a listed race. So, and Winter Power has gone on and done some nice things in group races.
Mm-hmm.
Trainer has 2 wins from 7 runs in the last 14 days. That's not shabby. So he's placing his horses correctly in my mind. 5 furlongs is the only distance this horse has ever won at. So it's going to win. If it's going to win, this is the distance for it, right? Mm-hmm. At least in historically.
And if I could interject real quick, they did say that the going should be between good and soft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, the only negative that I could come up with is it hasn't won in a little over a year. So maybe a little class relief will help this horse get over the line. And it certainly has faced some decent horses. So my number 8, it is Marvel. This draw number 1 is my next choice. Has 2 good wins in listed and handicap races, going for number 3 in a row. And its last race, the comment was comfortably winning, which I always like to see. That means they're pushing it. They pushed it at the 2 furlong mark, and with left to go, and it responded. And what's really interesting about this horse is it's a 7-year-old. He's never won a group race, but he's won 2 in a row this year. I mean, he looks like he's getting better. He's better this year, and has really improved. And 5 furlongs should be the perfect for him without any question. And I just think he's got a good chance here. I mean, the draw I'm not thrilled with. I don't know if I would want to be in the 1 personally, but we'll see how the jockey decides to ride this horse. My final choice is number 3, King's Lynn, which has draw 6. 2 races at 6 furlongs, and you want to try at 7 furlongs. Now it's dropping back to something I think is definitely in its wheelhouse. This year, it's got 1 win in 3 places, which I liked. He's finished out of the money twice, only in group races. So when he's in the lesser class, being class 2 or a handicap or something, he's done fine. He's not placed yet in a group race. So I'm going to give him a chance here. I also found interesting that at the end of 2020, they ran the horse 3 times, got 2 seconds, and then they gelded it. So this season it's been running and ran in beginning and gelded, and the results have been better. So
I don't think the results will be better for me.
Yeah, well, you never know. I already had that, so I'm well past that point in my life.
Understandable.
I think he's got a chance for get some money here, based on but a little nervous about not placing ever in a group race.
For me, I like King's Lynn. I focused on horses that run on good to soft and look like they're in good form. So looks like King's Lynn ran its best races when the track was not firm, was on the softer side. So I focused on that horse. Tis Marvelous looks to me like the horse that's probably in the best form right now. Another that's done really well on the soft surface. I also like Moss Gill, so we share a lot of horses right here today. I don't know, maybe we're thinking a lot alike. Just missed against Hurricane Ivor a couple races back, and that was on the soft grass. So, and then finally, I like number 8 significantly. That's my live long shot. This is the one that just missed. I'm sorry, against Hurricane Ivor 4 races back, and has done better on a soft track than Hurricane Ivor. So perhaps if he runs that same race at 20-1, might be a long shot. I can change my name to 20-1 Rich. I have to find a number that goes with R, though. I don't know. Are there any odds numbers that start with R? I don't think there are.
I can't think of any.
Yeah, me either. Maybe Roman numeral. I mean, Roman numeral Rich. How about that?
That could work. The other thing to point out on this race, of course, and you can see by the odds numbers here, it's a wide open race. I mean, the better can't decide. And I mean, I think the top horse is going to go be a little shorter than that. But if this pans out, I would say we can hit anything here. I think we'll get something for it.
I think you're absolutely right
in this race.
And the first 2 we covered, no question. If you get the exacta trifecta, you're going to get paid. There's no question about that. Hopefully one of us has. The next spot, we're going to stay in Newbury for the Dubai International Airport World Trophy Stakes. I do got that one. I do have that one correct, right?
No, that's the same one we just did.
Okay, this is the free mill then.
We're going to do the mill reef.
The mill reef. Okay, so I have that right then.
Yeah.
All right. I got it wrong, but right at the same time. I like that. Kind of like buying stock options. You can be right on the news, but then be wrong on the stock price.
It happens.
Mm-hmm. So this one is 6 furlongs. Again, the going's supposed to be good to soft. Tom, tell us about this race.
I took number 7, which has draw 4, Maglev. I liked it second at 7 furlongs and a handicap last out. It was the favorite, and it's been the favorite a few times. I think dropping back in a winning distance where you won at York, I think is a good thing. The Chester race was a favorite to face 2 horses, but this is your classic jockey race. In my mind, the jockey didn't make a good decision to stay with the horse that won because they went out and never looked back. So I kind of tossed that race. So I think again, my favorite line on 2-year-olds is you never know what you're going to get. And
Forrest Gump horses.
That's why I always like to try to think creatively, and try to pick winners out of that way. Number 4, Grubass, draw 6 is my next choice. Wins first.
They should have been a little bit more creative with that horse. If they're going to name it that, they might as well have gone all the way. Don't you think?
Grubass, I don't know.
I mean, they should have just went straight grab and then just gone with that, because what the heck?
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, why not? If you're going to go that far, you might as well just go all the way. But anyway.
I don't know. Run his first 2, then tried Group 1 and Group 2 company, and in a third and a Group 2 race, and then they shipped it to France, finished 5th, but it faced some decent horses. Armor was in that race. That's Aidan O'Brien horse, a perfect power and symmetrical. So it's could have returned to winning form in this type of race. I could see it. I don't know if it's not really any class relief here, but I think it's facing a little lighter company type race to here rather than some of the horses that they faced before. But again, it's a 2-year-old, so it could be dead last. Number 8, Manicon, draw 2. I picked as my last choice. First win last time out. 2 tries before, as trying to break the maiden, it finished 4th and 3rd. Interestingly, the trainer switched riders after those first 2 races. He went with a top handler, being William Buick. And that seemed to have made the difference. And I also like the fact that he's returning to ride again on this horse. So I give it a nice chance in here. It's only a maiden winner and hasn't faced a group at all, of course, but you just don't know with these 2-year-olds, and this one could be developing into something, and maybe William Buick figured it out. So that's why I threw it in there for my third choice.
For your third choice. For me, I went with number 1, Dhabab. Hope I got that right. Looks to me like it's the class horse of the field. Maybe the soft track could, be upsetting to the horse, but I doubt it. Then I went with number 2, Fearby. It's another horse that has 2 solid races on it's the 2 best races it's had, where the course was considered soft. Number 10, Wings of War, has never run a bad race in 4 of its 4 starts. And when you look at the race class rating, it's run at as high a class as any other horse in the field, and you're going to get a good price on that one at 14-1. And then I'm also with Tom with Mannequin, with William Buick and John Ryan, another 14-1. This horse came off the bench to win by 4.5 lengths. A lot of times when a horse gets some time off, comes back, and it's a new horse, it's not just a one race thing where they're in that good form. That form carries usually for a race or 2. So that's what I'm counting on there in number 8, Mannequin. We're going to zip now into the supersonic jet and go all the way down to Australia, Tom. We're going to start off at Caulfield, right? I hope that's another race. I mean, looking at these, Tom sends me the forms for Australia. It's straight gibberish to me, man. I have no idea what it says. So I just read the comments, kind of go through a couple of odds and ends and make my picks off of that. Tom, I guess, looks at it more detailed.
You've been doing all right doing that too, so I probably shouldn't complain.
No, I should probably do all my horse racing like that. The week I had with Terry, oh my Lord, and I go through these things and pour through every single angle, and then we'll pick 5 out of 6 horses in one of the legs of the pick 4, and the 6th horse wins every time. And I know everybody's gone through that too, so just one of those streaks where things aren't going my way, but it's going to change in Australia. So let's go ahead and look at the Neds Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes. Any idea who Neds Sir Rupert Clarke was?
No, I didn't look it up. I probably should have.
Yeah, whatever. All right, nice. So here we go. The Neds Sir. It's Caulfield Race 8. It's tonight. It's 1:50 a.m. Saturday. I guess that's Eastern time. I'm not sure if that's Eastern or if that's Central.
I think that's Eastern time.
All right, so almost 2 a.m. If you're up, you're out. You want a better race after having a few. Here you go. Tell us about this race, Tim.
You've got a nice horse in Behemoth to bet on, number 1.
Maybe pay for the night.
Definitely going to be the favorite. It's done nothing wrong this season. 2 wins, and 1 in a Group 3 and 1 in a Group 1. Had some issues in his last race. He had to be steadied, but still won. This is one of those, are you getting better with age? He's 6. He's done very nicely in Group 1 company too. He has 3 wins and 1 placing, 7 starts. And this year he's knocked it right out with his first 2. And the reason I say we're in Australia, the new season is starting because Spring Carnival, and it's spring there. Unlike us, we're going to be freezing our off.
You know what's off,
quickly,
yes.
And they're not going to be. And they'll have some nice racing going on there.
If they can get out of their houses, though.
Yeah, well, that's always a possibility. Number 7, Sierra Sioux is my next choice. I forgave the last race. The 1,600 meters at Moonee Valley, I just don't think it was a good race because it won its prior to at 1,400. Its record at 1,400 meters is 4 wins from 6 starts. Again, another one hasn't placed, only 1. So
I like those all or nothing horses
in that level. Has won once here at the distance first Group 2 horses, and it does get a weight advantage over my top choice. So that may help, and understandably so because let's face it, he's been running like one of the better horses out there. Number 6. Buffalo River is my final choice. He's coming off a 5-month layoff plus. First race off a layoff, he's won twice, and he has 3 seconds from 6 layoffs. So I thought that was something he had to pay attention to.
Yeah, good record.
But hasn't won since 2020 of May. So
not a good record.
That makes me a little more nervous. His record of the distance is 10 starts. It has 5 wins and 4 seconds and a third. So never out of the money.
No, you got to like those horses.
And so, yeah, I mean, will it win? I don't think so. But will it be in the money? The numbers say yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to use it.
Well, 17 horses in the field. A lot of them, I think, have a shot to finish in the money, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
I started, and again, for me, I just look at the horses, what kind of form it looks like they're in right now. And then I look at what their form is at the particular track, Caulfield. And then I read the comments. So that's how I've done my handicapping here. So I ended up with number 2 on top, Pro Babel. That's my top pick, followed by number 14. There you go. Nice one dice roll. And it looks like it is a roll of the dice, but it's 20-1 odds. And 17 horse field, you never know what's going to happen. Get the right trip. Tom mentioned Behemoth. That's my third choice. So I got the top 2 in terms of odds. Well, it looks like I have number 1 and number 3. Looks like Boy Rosa is the top choice right now. And then I closed it out with number 10, Irish Flame, 40-1 horse. Might as well go big if you're going to go down to Australia, right? It's kind of like the Southern Hemisphere version of Texas. Finally,
we should point out that right now Caulfield is a good 4 track, and they're expecting rain. So we'll see if that has any effect on the results.
It's a good 4?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to come up with like nothing or something afterwards. Yeah, it's a good for nothing track.
Yeah, I'll send you how they do their ratings. It's kind of interesting how they do it. And New Zealand has adapted it, but I'm not aware of any other place in the world that they do it this way.
Okay. So how do they do it? They just like a good 4, a good 3, good 2, good 1. How does it work?
Well, it's by condition, how much moisture and so they're looking at the track in terms of how the consistency basically is the best way to describe it. And again, I'll send you the write up on it, so it gives you some idea of how they do this, because it is interesting.
All right, cool.
Well, as the next race we're doing, which is at Randwick, right now it's soft 6.
Soft 6.
So big difference in types of track that we're looking at, but we're also looking at one very good horse.
And they're also looking at only like 9 horses instead of 170 or 24 or 17. He's got a little better chance of maybe getting it right.
Well, there's one very good horse in this race, and that's number 7, Very Elegant. Traditionally, she's needed a race after a layoff, and she finished second last time out, and she needed a race after a layoff. She's 6 starts. With her second start, she's won 3 times with her second start of the season. She raced keenly last with no cover on the outside. So she probably, even finishing second, was really a good effort for her. A little wide. Why not, right? Definitely going to be the favorite in my mind. And the only negative I have is I don't know if this is her best distance. It'll be interesting to see how she performs at this distance. But it's hard to get past her. This New Zealand mare is just a top-notch horse. I took number 5, Rio Dina. It's my second choice. It's had 4 races since July, and her best race was in a good second against Group 2 race. It's never won at 1,600 meters. But has started 5 times and finished second twice and finished third twice. Well, I'm just looking for it in the money because I'm not looking at the win. So I like that number.
Yep.
Hasn't won since 2019. But when you look at its racing, it's getting paychecks pretty consistently. Just not winning. It has to be very frustrating. But one little key thing I thought was interesting here was when I looked at the soft going results, it has 3 starts and 3 wins. So is this the right placing for her? Maybe. But I do think she's got a good chance of finishing the money because that's what she does.
Yeah, 12-1, 15-1, somewhere in there, not bad. Maybe it lives up to that soft turf pedigree and makes it 4 for 4.
Yeah, I mean, again, the running in Group 1 is probably the one negative here. Is she going to be able to handle that kind of company? Number 6, Lions Roar is my final choice. I think it needed its first start. It got a bad draw, and let's say it ran a bad race to be nice about it.
Mm-hmm.
It has won on this track in a Group 1 level race before. So it's not like it doesn't know this track or this level of competition. It's 2 for 2 at this distance, which is always a nice stat to see. Its record overall, it's not a heavily raced horse. It's ran 11 times, has 4 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. So pretty nice round numbers in there to make it possible. And all his races have been close except his last one, and I just think he just didn't get what he needed, which was that draw was just awful, and it was coming off a layoff too. Didn't help.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm going to throw him in there, because I think he's got a chance.
I think he's got a crack at it. So for me, I looked at it again, but the limited ability to read those Australian sheets, I went with Very Elegant, number 7. Looks to me like was the best horse in the field. Number 1, Colding, is my second pick. Looks like it's going to go off at about 10-1. And number 2, Think It Over. Looks like it's going to be the second choice in the program. About 4 to, no, it looks like it's going off around 9-2, somewhere in that range. And I agree with you, Tom, on number 5, Rio Dini. Those are my 5 horses for Royal, Randwick? That's it, Royal Randwick. And just to point out that the other race starts at about 2 o'clock in the morning. This one starts at about 12:15 a.m. Eastern time. So you have a long time between races to go grab a few more cold ones if you like.
And if you're in the insomniac theater realm, playing the horses at that hour is not such a bad thing to do.
No, it kind of occupies the time. And then you can go read and you'll fall asleep for sure. That's always what happens to me, Tom. If I get tired, pick up a book, start reading it, and then I'll be out cold in no time flat. All right, Tom, well, that wraps up our international journey for this week. We missed last week. We'll be back next week. Any idea what we'll be covering next week?
Well, we've got some really good racing going to be coming up. I'm going to pop it up real quick here. We have 3 days, well, I should say 2 days, the 24th and 25th at Newmarket, with some very nice races going on, Group 2s, Group 3s, Group 1s. And, of course, the weekend after that, we have the Arc de Triomphe.
So we're going to have some big races coming up over the next couple weeks.
And, of course, the second, besides, obviously, a Newmarket, we've got some really good racing going on in there, too. So the third will be the Arc, but before that, at Perry Longchamp, they have a very top-notch card on the day before too. So that's the Sunday is the Arc, Saturday is the other races. So we got a lot to choose from coming up, because this is going to get really interesting real quick.
Oh yes, there's going to be a lot of big races, a lot of good horses.
Effect on the Breeders' Cup. I saw that as an example, Santa Barbara is going to be running at Keeneland.
Mm-hmm.
If she prefers the flat, looks like she's going to go in the Queen Elizabeth in the fall. So that Eden O'Brien's really just decided that this is where she belongs, and based on her 2 runs here, I would agree with that. But we'll see what else pops up in here. As people may know, Wonderful Tonight was retired after an accident, unfortunately, so she will not be considered. Love ran second in the Champions at Kerr last weekend. We'll see if she pops up into some of these races, and we're going to hopefully review some of them when we get closer.
And of course, St. Mark's Basilica will be probably running there as well. So that's one of the best horses right now.
Without question. Well, and maybe Hurricane Lane.
Hurricane Lane, yes. We'll talk about those as they enter. The big race is coming up for the next 2 weeks. So we got a lot on tap. Of course, you can head over to Horse Racing Radar tomorrow. There is a contest at Belmont that I will be, along with Terry, will be live emceeing in between races, making our picks, projecting the pace, analyzing every horse, and hopefully getting some of our selections correct. Tom, as always,
if not, they'll make faces at you again.
Yeah, or they'll make faces at us, right? We get those weird-looking emojis put in the comments. All right, Tom, until we catch up again next Thursday night, as always, folks, we wish you nothing but good luck, whether your tickets are here or international, and may we see you in the Ayr, Newbury, Caulfield, or the Randwick Winner's Circle.